So I have done a decent amount since I did the last video. I finally pulled all of the thyme out that I wanted to take out, which technically you can see that in the last video. I just totally forgot to say something about it. But I also got all of my other basil plants in the ground finally. And I will admit, I did not bring them out here to harden them off because they've been in a greenhouse where they've been sitting around, I don't know, 75, 76 degrees on a regular basis. And then at night it cools down to probably low 60s, mid 60s in there. And they like heat. So I was like, you know what? See what happens. We'll throw them out here, and every single one of them has been perfectly happy. No issues, no wiltiness, nothing. And this out here, I finally got all the catnip out, and that's more basil that got added in. Little long thingies in the back are the Japanese mustard that I planted and then completely forgot about. Let's see. Got some cosmos going, look like they're gonna bloom. Bunch of dandelions with marigold. More cosmos. I don't know what that one is. I'm guessing it's a zinnia, but I don't remember what was out here. It's from last year. It just kind of popped up. And then more basil. Varieties I haven't grown before. Noticed that some of the carrots that I planted actually are growing. Didn't see it because catnip was over here blocking everything, so that's kind of fun. And then my echinaceas are doing great and have tons of blooms on them and are drawing in butterflies and things and make me happy. And peppers are doing fantastically. Everything really appreciated the deep water. This is such a pretty plant. I love this plant. Every single year I grow these just because they're so pretty. And when they start turning different colors, it'll be super pretty too. Oh, it's kind of covering up my algae over here. Poblano's doing fantastic. And then we get to my eggplants. And that's not flea beetle damage, because flea beetle damage is the tiny spots. The big spots are something else. And they got my bigger ones too, but it's not heinous. The one that's really buried into the tomatillas seems like it's mostly protected. Apparently they don't like tomatillas, so I like that fact. I don't want to hit them with diatomaceous earth, but I'm going to have to be very, very careful about my application and make sure that I only get the leaves and nowhere near the blooms, because they are blooming at this point. And yeah, so that sucks. Let's see. Oh, and then the lychee over here's picking it pretty good. Cute little cluster of blooms, no insect damage, so hopefully whatever attacked them last year doesn't attack them this year. We'll see. So one of the fun things that I've been doing is a lot of different experimentations with companion planting, because it does make a huge difference in my yields, and it does make a huge difference in plant health. And so I followed a lot of the traditional advice as far as like basil with tomatoes and like all peppers together, and like generally I'll keep my nightshades apart. Obviously this bed is all nightshades of different, so well, I don't know if tomatillas are technically nightshades. I know they're related to tomatoes, but eggplants and peppers are most definitely nightshades. So, you know, this is working fantastically. The fact that the tomatillas are blocking most of the pests that usually attack my eggplants is fantastic. I don't know if it's traditionally recommended or not, but I'm going to keep doing it because of the results. And then peppers, like I call it a pepper forest. I want to say that's what I saw it called online. But basically, put them really close together. Don't follow the planting directions. Like, put them to where they will touch their neighbors, because for some reason that makes them really happy and really productive, and they tend to grow more upright and not have as many issues with like falling over, unless they're like my poblano here that has like a ton of peppers on it. But it just works great, and I never have to stake them or anything. Once in a blue moon I might have to come out here with a dowel rod for something like that, because it's a large pepper and it's covered, but you know, I'm not complaining. Let's see. I don't know where the flower beds. Oh, the onions. The leeks and the bunching onions are still fantastic. That last deep watering really seemed to make them happy. Oops, pay attention on the cameras. Really seemed to make them happy. So, yay. Onions are still doing great. Some of them started standing upright. So I'm assuming I just need to water them a little bit more often. But like I said before, they are bulbing well. Everything seems to be going well. So, you know, we'll see what they look like by the time it's time to harvest them. Still haven't gotten out here to kill the squash vine or thingies. So that poor squash is still doing things, but you know, I need to get out here and take care of the poor thing. This one's still happy. apparently there's been no new infestation, so yay. But I'll do a video when I come out here and do that, because I have tried so many different things in the past that were recommended, from foil colors to trying to put them on trellises to trying to inject BT into the stems, and none of it worked the way it was supposed to. And then I just got irritated one day, and I had a little paring knife out here with me, and I stabbed through the stem where the vine borer was and left it at that. Figured I probably killed my plant, but you know, got out some rage, and it killed the borer and the plant thrived. So that was actually the plant that we're looking at right now. It was one of the white scallop squashes last year, and so I went through and did it on all of them, and it worked fantastically, and it was super easy. And the plants, I mean, the stems looked kind of gnarly afterwards, but they healed and they thrived. So, you know, kind of didn't hurt anything, but it made me feel better at the same time. Kind of cathartic. Let's see here. All right, tomatoes. I am going to fertilize them because I compared my videos around this time last year to this year, and there's a pretty noticeable difference. Like, they were all pushing 6 feet tall this time last year. And I know part of it's the weather, because May had a few cool nights that stunted them, so I do expect them to be a tiny bit behind, potentially, even after being well taken care of. But it's these that kind of changed my mind on that, because these are the black cherries, and they are doing really well. Like, at this point, they're more than 2 feet taller than some of my other plants. And the black strawberries are great because they're loaded with fruit and everything, but they're showing signs of potassium deficiency, which is that purpling. So that's what convinced me to go ahead and fertilize them. We're going to see what happens. The micro tomatoes, I don't necessarily think need it because they're all absolutely loaded. That one's falling over. Oh, and it's got a couple of ripe ones on it. So these are the orange hats, and well, I guess I could leave you in there for one more day if I wanted to, but that is most definitely pretty much a ripe tomato. So that means the rest of them are going. Why do you keep unfocusing? Stop that. All right, so between that and then my basil that's supposed to be purple not being purple, that's what's making me decide to go ahead and fertilize. We'll see what happens. It's time for me to water them again anyway. Ah, that's the one that fell over. It's so loaded. I need to probably do something about that. And there's another one. This one, oh my gosh, what were these? I don't remember what these were. I had orange hats. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I do not remember for the life of me which 3 I grew, other than the orange hats. Damn. Anyway, I'm excited. That one I didn't grow last year, so I have a new one ripening, and I think it's a red one. I want to say it was orange, red, and yellow, but I'll go back and re-reference it later. But yeah, so I'm gonna fertilize before I water. I do use a specific tomato fertilizer on my tomatoes, a general fertilizer usually on everything else. It's like a 10-10-10. I don't like using that with the tomatoes because when they're in the fruiting stages like they are, ooh, look at you being absolutely covered. Camera, why are you being such a pain today? Yay, that makes me happy. Open up there. Awesome. All right, squash. So that's the one that had the initial vine borer damage that I was able to hit it with a jet on my hose and it killed it, so that was kind of cool. And it's doing great, even though it's growing in the wrong direction. These two, that's one plant. That's the other plant. This one's not liking something. I don't know if it's vine borers or if I need to fertilize it because it's got a lot of extensive stem damage too down here. Oh, well, you can't see it. It's a leaf. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot of vine borer damage. So I'll go ahead and fertilize them, since I'm going to fertilize everything else, and we'll see what happens. Generally speaking, it's a granular fertilizer, so it dissolves slowly, and generally within 3 days I'll notice a difference. For anything that's like severely lacking nutrients, you notice a really fast difference because it'll start greening up pretty quickly. But other than the tomatoes being a little bit behind, everything else is doing great. Peppers are doing what they're supposed to. Tomatillos are doing what they're supposed to. All of my oniony things are working like they're supposed to. I'm super excited to have the basil now all out here because it's a quick grower and it loves heat. So it should be taking off soon. And I'm growing a whole bunch of different kinds. I replanted some lemon basil since my last ones didn't germinate, other than like one plant. And then I did another 6-pack of Genovese so I can do pesto and stuff. And then I did Thai holy basil and spicy globe basil. And there's one purple ball basil because that was the end of my seeds and that was the only one that germinated. So, you know, yay! In another couple weeks, this is going to look really awesome.